Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 12th edition of Global Picnic. As you see, the squad here is a bit different today. We'll tell you all about it, but we are really, really excited and happy to kick off the 12th edition of our Global Picnic with, I think, the core and most important topic of actually why we also started the Global Picnic family, community, movement, creating heart-to-heart connections. And also creating change, empowering others. It is the why, not only the why that perhaps we know in our lives, but especially why in our business. In Slovenia, we call it zakaj. And it's kind of the word that we rarely use because we call it's only a yes or no answer. But in the Global Picnic community, we feel that is really, really important. It's one of the core questions that we need to ask. For everyone who's joining us first time or is joining us in the replay or in the recording, we have posted Dagmar's article that she wrote for Social Monster, which was actually...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Which was actually the inspiration for not only this topic, but also the topics to come. Shortly, we'll just introduce ourselves so that you know who you're talking to, who your guests are. My name is Zala. I'm digital marketer and coach. I'm based in Slovenia, but I do and live my business locally and globally. I'm one of the forces behind the Global Picnic, and I would really like to ask my friends to introduce themselves, maybe tell something about the Global Picnic that I've forgotten. In the alphabetical order, Amalia?
Hello, everyone. My name is Amalia Gomez. I'm from Colombia, but I'm living in Spain since 1999. I work in digital world since 2006. I start with e-commerce, and then I have to learn about digital world, about SEO, social media, content. I help another companies to grow and to start in the digital world.
Thank you.
Welcome, Amalia.
And welcome. So you see Amalia, she's sitting right below me. So she's our new fifth musketeer, part of our ever-growing family. Nice having you. Varun, can we jump to you?
Okay. Just go ahead, Varun. Before we lose you, I'm happy.
Order, Dagmar. So, hello everyone, and to our 12th edition of 12th or 11th edition of Global Picnic Show. My name is Varun. I'm from India, a digital marketer who works in the social media marketing and the content marketing side. Works with the individuals and the startups and small businesses to establish their social media marketing strategy and help to implement and measure that activity. A special thanks to Dagmar Gatel, who started this wonderful initiative of the Global Picnic.
So, thank you, Varun. I'm Dagmar Gatel. I'm an SEO strategist, coach, and I really love SEO because there are so many opportunities. I'm also the co-founder of Social Monster together with Scott Johnson, and our why of being business is really to help entrepreneurs and small businesses to create a bigger impact, and with that make money and get leads and get sales. And interesting the topic today because it's really the same why we did Global Picnic, right? The why are we in business? Why do we do what we do? And we all have at the and the same why. To talk today about us and our why to really give an inside of that, you only can do so much alone, right, with your why. So you really want to connect with many others, clients, partners, collaborations, to bring this why to reality.
Yeah. Exactly. Thanks, Dagmar. Also, I think from the whole team, thank you again for the article, and not only for the article itself, but I think that we're so excited to talk about this because it speaks to all of us, and it also speaks to the parts in our past and our experience that were kind of similar to yours. You know, we all experienced it. We all had our highs and lows. We all had, our businesses fail, but, we had to get up and brush ourselves and do it again. And it's kind of, I think, really important at this moment now to maybe reintroduce this question why. Because from my personal opinion, I think that we spend a lot of time thinking about the ROI, how to make money, how to start and grow and expand your business, how to be top, how to be really successful, what is your POV, and how are you unique, and what separates you from the others. And sometimes, this can really actually be this question of why, which can, I think, also answer a lot of insecurities, a lot of questions, and help to maybe set you on the right path. Before we dig more into, I would just like to say, for those who do not know us, and I'm quite sure I will not say it correct again, Global Picnic is also founded and also worked together by all non-native English speakers. Did I say it correctly? Yes, I did. So it's not just that we share different languages, different experiences, but also different cultures that we've also discussed in the previous blabs about how difficult sometimes and how different the perception of doing business, of creating, establishing business, surviving business, or how driving the demand for your business is. So I would really like to start here personally. When you started, for example, when you started your own businesses, my friends, or when you were working in your previous jobs, your regular jobs, were you ever questioning yourselves about the why? Did you have these thoughts in your head? Did you think about this? Varun, can you go first? Varun, first.
Yeah. The entrepreneurship, the word or the term, it was actually in my mind since my engineering days. While I was in the college doing my engineering studies, I was always thinking about starting a company, working for myself, not for someone else. But after when I completed my engineering, after some time I don't have a single job because that was the 2008, the big global recession throughout the world, and after I passed my aeronautical engineering and get nowhere a single job for an aeronautical engineer. Then after I didn't work for around 5 to 6 months, then I worked some like the teaching or some other kind of job. Then after I started to working in a call center industry. Then I have to work in the shipbuilding industry where I work build the ships and other kind of materials. Then after started that, I have to work in the to start my own business. But the motive was actually lacking. I started to marketing with my friend. Actually, I mentioned that I can relate it to a transfer because I started a full venture with my best friend and it eventually failed. So we were not realize what is our why. What is the why of our business? The motive was simply to establish that and on the money as we can do, but simply miss the why of our, what is the main core of our business, what is the, or why is we are in that kind of business, what we want to do that. That's the main thing we lack, and that's the main reason that our first venture failed. After that, I realized that my why is digital, because I love the digital thing. I can think that digital from my mind or from my heart, that I can help people.
You're going in and out.
Yeah.
Really?
Amalia, can you give us your thoughts? Maybe we'll just skip to you and then go back to Varun. What are your thoughts, for example? What are your thoughts? Were you ever, I mean, even when you were studying, or when, in your life in general, before, becoming an entrepreneur or going on your entrepreneurial path, were you thinking about the why? And if I may ask also, do you now know the why of your business?
Okay, I think all start when I was 17 years, when I started in the university. I studied business administration, and I want to manage my own business. I want to start my project, and to know how you can manage different things. In the years after that, I start to work in different companies, but always I have the same thought. You have to learn, and you have to work for you, and you have to fight all days for your dreams and for your passion. Because when you work for another company, you have to follow their lines, their objectives. And when you start your own business, you follow your own rules, and you have to work a lot of hours, but you have objective to learn, to practice, to help another people, to found the meaning of her careers, of her business, their business, sorry. And I think it's my why now. My why was changing across the years, but I think always my objective is to work from my own business and to grow for me and from the others too.
So it's kind of the why actually it stems from inside of you, and it's also your personal passion and your personal dreams that also fuel your why. Varun, can you just can you please just finish the really good thought that you started?
Yeah, thank you, Jala. That I was mentioning that my why was the passion behind the digital thing, which was actually missing in the first venture which I started and eventually failed. The motive behind the first venture was to just earn money as soon as I can. But the real motive or real why was the digital thing which I love. I love about the digital technologies, the digital thing which is happening day by day, and I learn, I can explain, and I can help people in this kind of technology. So that is the main why of my business, having in this business of social media marketing and content marketing, because I love this technology and I can help people. So that is my core why of having in this business. That's my point.
Yes. That's very interesting. I think that's very interesting because also, I think that Dagmar, a lot of the discussions that we had were also about, finding your purpose. Are you living your purpose? And is what you're doing adding value to either your clients or to other businesses, to yourself also? Because we'll just wait for Dagmar and Alberto if they can come in. Also,
Scott can join us if Scott is ready to
they're
join
both
us.
in. Yeah.
Okay, Amalia is joining. When Scott wanna join, I will drop my line.
What I wanted to also share from my personal opinion was, and from reading Dagmar's article and also discussing with all of you, I think that a lot of times we're not really clear about, the whys that we have also in our personal life. So, in our personal life regarding the path that we're taking, or not really maybe clear about the values and the intention and the purpose we would like to live. And sometimes it's really difficult if you're a solopreneur or if you are your business. So you're not a big company or a bigger company, or you're not running social media or digital marketing or e-commerce for another company. It's really difficult if you don't know your personal why, then to infuse this into your career, and being you as an entrepreneur to push this forward and saying, yes, I know what my core values are. I know what I wish to serve or what I wish to do, and I really know what fulfills me. Because personally, I know that when we've talked, it took me personally quite a lot of time to realize what my purpose was and actually what my passion was, from all the, let's say, knowledge and skills that I've gathered in my previous positions or in my previous experiences. It was all kind of a sitting there, but I really needed to refocus it and really get clear about the purpose that I wish to live, and also how I can be of service to other people. Okay, Dagmar, your thoughts.
Dagmar. Okay. So there was a day, I remember just a few days after my 12th birthday, right? I went to the Superman movie and I came home, I was totally excited. And I thought, I want to be Superman. That's exactly what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
And my German dad said to me, are you crazy? Superman, first you're a woman, so you will be Wonder Woman or Supergirl or whatever. And what is this crazy thought? You cannot be Superman. So I said to him, I want to change the world. I want to help the world. And he, you need a job. That's what you need. So I got a job as I was 16, and I had a job to the age of, I would say, the early 40s. And I always thought in my jobs, I cannot make a difference here. Like, I was the best worker ever, and all my bosses loved me. But I felt I could not make a difference in any way. I just could do a good job. And as I had the opportunity to leave my last job, which was a very challenging job because I felt like my spirit and soul was dying anyway, I really wanted to create an impact. And it's still like this. I want to make a difference. I want to create an impact. And I realized I cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
I need to help others to make this impact with me, to make the difference, to reach this goal of making the world a better one. So that's really my why. Is an old one. I just needed a long, long time to get to the point where I now.
Yeah. But isn't
Hi, Scott.
Hey Scott, just before we'd like to hear your thoughts, I would just like to say, when I was listening, to Amalia, to Varun, and to you, it's like I remember this really interesting discussion. It was, when we were children, they were often asking us, what would you like to do? What would you like to do as a profession? And or what would you like to be? And I think that it was a pretty different discussion, because I know that somebody said, why? Because when we ask our children, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? We kind of, creatively already, focus them, and we really narrow them. It's like, maybe it would be really better to ask, what change would you like to make, in the future? What change you would like to drive in the future? Or what innovation, or how innovative would you like to be in the future? And I think this is really exciting, because I believe that it also helps to open the mindset of younger people to start thinking differently, not in a traditional way of, studying, getting employed, having a job, and just doing a good job, but, just doing a good job without asking themselves, how can I serve? How can I make a difference? How can I be there for somebody? How can I help somebody do something else? It was just a thought that to share with you.
Yeah, without a question.
Scott, nice to see you here. Can you share your thoughts? With us?
Sure. I guess growing up poor on the south side of Chicago, I never really get to see any part of the world other than a James Bond movie, or what you see in a James Bond movie per se when you're a kid. In high school, I had some great blue-collar jobs working in high school, steel mill and brickyards, making bricks. My friends had nice cars and all that, but I wanted to do something different. And went to college at a local university, and took an accounting course and was very good at it. And they say it's the language of business, which is true. And passed the CPA exam and went for work for a big white-collar company in Chicago, big CPA firm, and got to see the world, ultimately. Doing Formula One races around the world, IndyCar races, worked for McDonald's, for Shell, rolled up Shell, Nestle in Switzerland. I had some fun. When my wife passed away, it kind of changed a little bit. And it really wasn't so much about traveling or money or any of that. It was more, I just wanted to enjoy life and do something a little different. And so I started working with startup companies and entrepreneurs. And I really loved that, because I had a talent that they were lacking. They had great ideas, great processes, great product, great services, but they were lacking access to the big companies. And I had that process. I knew how to reach them. I know how to get any of the Fortune 1000 companies, which they lacked. The one thing I lacked was the ability to identify what those big companies were really looking for. And when I met Dagmar a few months ago, maybe in March or April, I think it was on a blog actually, the SEO part is what I was missing. And I never really realized that you could find out what people are looking for on the internet. They actually, there's statistics, there's their search engine results, there's stuff like the questions they're asking. And knowing what companies were looking for, and if I had the right small company that I was representing, it was fantastic. And Dagmar was missing the same, a different piece. She was missing access to big companies. She was working with a lot of coaches and a lot of individuals on SEO work, small stuff, but she really wanted to go do some bigger stuff because she has her mission to help change the world, and you need money to do that. It isn't going to happen through writing blog posts. Well, you can affect a lot of people that way. It's just, money is the answer to a lot of problems in the world. So we decided to put our stuff together, our assets, which is our brains, and we're going to do something, and hopefully we can change the world, make the world a better place. So we'll see. That's why it was simple.
I just wanted, Scott, I wanted to ask you, thank you so much for sharing your personal story. It means a lot to us because I think that we can all in some ways identify, and I think that it can help a lot of people. And I really wanted to ask you, do you think that in the process of finding your why, or maybe when shifting your career, for example, does this coincide with for example things that can happen to you as your personal experiences, or how your views and how your values change by what for example happens to you privately and professionally? What would you think?
Yeah, I think the biggest changes in your life come from things that happen to you privately. The biggest decisions you make, marriage, divorce, burying parents, all those things are life changers. They're game changers. Just moving across country. They're all stressful. They're all changes, and every time something like that happens, you have to take a step back and reevaluate what you want to do, what's going on in your life. And I think if you're just in the same 9-to-5 job doing the same thing your whole life, you don't have that happening to you per se. You can come home to your wife and your kids, do the same thing every day over and over again. I don't think you're going to make a big change in anyone's life. So it's my I don't know the right answer, but my answer is if something happens to you, you'll change. Good or bad, something good or bad happens to you, you'll make a change.
Yes, I most definitely agree. I think that it is not my saying. I can't contribute it to me, but I do firmly believe that personally and in life and in business-wise, the change is the only constant. The change is what makes it all go around, makes it go forward, and this is basically then how apt we are to adapt and to be agile to actually roll with the change, because that for me personally was always the biggest effort and the biggest issue, because you're maybe accustomed to some things, some experiences, some patterns, and all of a sudden they change, and you also need to change a lot. So you need to be very flexible, not just in mind, but also in your actions, in your behavior. So this was also kind of what I saw in the why discussion then that we were having. But I wanted to ask you something else. Maybe, we'll have people listening to our stories, or maybe we'll have people wondering, and they will say, what the heck? How can I know what my why is? What is the path to getting your why? I have no clue. I don't know. I'm maybe not really satisfied in the moment in my business. I want to change something, but how do I do this? Is there like a magic formula? Is there like a, I don't know, 5-way course I can do it? What are your thoughts about this? Varun, what do you
think? This is not a 7-point written formula anywhere. You have to actually experiment and think what is the best you can give, or what is the best thing you can help some other people. Money is a motive, but that is not the main thing, because everybody wants to earn that as much as money as he can do. But the thing is that how you will earn that money, earn that reputation, or earn that trust. What is the special talent, or what is the special gift you have that you can add to that business, and from that you can earn the reputation, trust, or influence in that market. So you have to find that what is the expertise you have which can be marketable or which is the useful to the person or to the niche market you are trying to target. If I think what is the special thing I have that I can what I found that I can uh, uh, find my best thing that in the digital technology, the latest digital technology, the latest digital change which is happening in especially in the social media marketing world and the content marketing side of the business. That is my special why. I can set goals and I can implement that kind of thing. That is my special thing, which is my why. And it is not what say it is easy to find. I have failed my first venture, and then after that I realized that my main thing is that is the working in the digital thing and the digital technology. This is my why. It is what I can offer to the other people and help the other people. This is my specialty, and this is my where I can create some mark on uh, some extra other the market target market where I was trying to establish my influence. So that is my why, and it is very what say sometimes easy to find and sometimes very hard to find. People need to analyze what special thing they can offer. They need to set the realistic goal and they need to create a plan to conquer that goal. That is the best thing they can do to identify their why.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Varun, because I really wanted to discuss this. Hey, Wayne.
Hi, Zara.
Hey, nice of you to join in.
I wasn't expecting to go on today, but hey, here I am.
Hey, and this is our Dagmar. She's our moderator of the group, and when she says you come in, you come in.
Absolutely a leader, no doubt about it.
Welcome to our show.
Yeah. What I just wanted to say before we'd really like to hear from Wayne is Varun. I think it's so important what you said. It's like you need to explore yourself. You need to explore what you're good at, what interests you, what you believe in, how with your skills and expertise and your past experience can make a difference in somebody else's life, can help them, to guide them, to mentor them, and how you can make yourselves valuable. And it really, is the why that connects to the core of yourself. That's why it's really important to know thyself. It's like we say, know thy audience, know who you're talking to, selling to, or engaging with. It's even more utterly for me important to know yourself, because then you know your strengths and your weaknesses, and you can make a really good combo with it. So thank you so much for sharing this important aspect. Wayne.
And thank you for explaining so well.
Thank you. Wayne, what are your thoughts? I mean,
careful what you ask for. I'm always full of thoughts. I can go on all day.
I know. No, but it's like you have kind of a quite special niche past career behind you, and you've been through a lot in your life and in your business, and I was really wondering what your thoughts were regarding the why and the changes that spurred this question why.
Well, there's different things that affect our why. Finding our why is a process of trial and error. It really is. I mean, like Dagmar mentioned, when she was a child, we all want to do something that that impresses us, and as children, it mostly involves change or good or trying to do something that is good. We tend to want to be like our idols and those kinds of things. What ends up happening is then we grow into adulthood and we're stuck in jobs. We need to eat. And if our why isn't clearly defined, what ends up happening is the fires of the day, the problems of the day become our why. And we end up going in circles. You're forever chasing the problem of the day. When your why is set in stone, and it's like I quoted for Dagmar in her article when she was generous enough to ask me to give a few thoughts. It becomes your lighthouse. If you have a solid why, if you are true to yourself, you know why, and that doesn't come easy. That takes time. For a lot of us, it takes a life-altering event. For me, it took a life-altering event for me to realize that I was wasting my why. When we have a gift or a talent or a skill and we don't share it with the world to do good, it's wasted. And when my life-altering event happened, I was, where I live in Canada is kind of like the Texas of the United States, and it's very oil field oriented and hard farming and hard work. So your status level was determined. Who you were was determined by what you did and how hard you worked. And that always offended me because I was not defined by what I did to put food on the table. And after I found my why, I started to realize that when I was working on my why and following the path of my why, I started to become defined by what I had become, not what I did. Yeah. When I was putting stuff on the food on the table as a truck driver, people determined that was the level I was at. That was my skill set. That was my capabilities. You're a truck driver. In the meantime, on the side, I was working on my why as a habit, as a hobby, trying to help people, spending my late nights and early mornings using my skill set, my gifts in visual and things like that, trying to cram as much good as I could into a couple hours in the evening while I was surviving, and that people would ask me, what did I do? And I wouldn't tell them because they would define me. They would pigeonhole me into some category or a wage class, a blue collar, whatever you wanted to call it. After I started becoming an entrepreneur many years ago now, people change their perception. When you are providing value to them that is beyond their immediate grasp or ability to get, they perceive you differently. You don't become pigeonholed to that a certain demographic, shall I say. So I tell people now that I work in living dreams. I work in helping people live their dreams. Wow. Simple. For me, my why came after a near-death experience, and I never had children. So that's a blessing and a legacy that I never had, and I don't have to look forward to. So for me, my why is in legacy in helping other people create their dreams so that their families, can live like they want to. A big inspiration for me is BMW. It's a family-owned company. They didn't get to where they're at because they were good at everything. They had people that believed in them and helped them achieve what they did. And there's a legacy that's going to go on for many, many generations. That's my why. Mm-hmm.
Wow, amazing, Wayne. Not just, I don't want to sound like, I don't want to sound like cheesy or something, but this is just like mind-blowing because, it touches kind of me because when I work with people, I so often, hear that a lot of times, they're not brave enough or courageous enough to, to maybe see their potential or say, yes, I will be, I won't be defined, but by who I am, where I live, what I do, how good of a wife, a husband, a daughter or something I am, but, I want something else. I want, something else for me. I want to find myself and my why. And a lot of times it's just either people are maybe not ready, or we're not ready, or for some of them it never happens. And
You're right.
it's kind of a, it's not something that for sure happens for everybody. And we can be sure that everybody finds their why. It can happen or not happen.
If our why is nothing more than putting food on the table, we will always be limited to whatever we're doing to trade time for money. Yeah. Whatever job it is that you have, if that is all your why is to put food on the table, there's a ceiling. You'll never grow farther than that. Yeah. When your why becomes bigger than just something as simple as money, you'll be extremely, extremely enlightening, because what ends up happening then is little things that try to pull you off of your course that follow your why become very easy to walk away from. It doesn't matter whether it's a high-paying client or a friend that doesn't believe in what you're doing. If your why is clear and you're on that path, the garbage falls off the side of the wagon really, really quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a really good metaphor, I think. And before I asked both of you, Varun and Dagmar, something that's also really interesting for me. It's when I was listening to you, it's like I was, I come from a family where everyone's a doctor. They are all in the same field. They're all, they were all extremely successful. My parents, my sister, they were the superstars of the science, everything. And of course, everybody said, you will do this too, right? You will be a doctor. I don't know what. And I was, and I have a...
What happened to you, Sala?
I have a tremendous fear of blood. I can't see needles or blood or anything. So I'm like, and it's like, it's just, I love people. I love talking to them. I love working with them. But, being sick or, being around sickness or not also being able to help people when they are sick or, terminally ill and so on. This is just not my thing, really. And they were all saying, what will you be, a surgeon or this and that? And it defined me throughout my primary school, throughout my high school. And when it was time for college, in high school, I was already more, language oriented. I did other things. And then when it was time to go to college, it was like, medicine, and I said, no. And, I went and studied cultural studies and management, and people are still asking me, what do you do with this, Zala? What is this? Is this actually something that you can use? And it was
make money with.
Yeah, make money with, And it was like, all the time, I could so resonate with you, because all of the time I said inside myself, I said, I did everything in my past life that was expected from me, so I did this and this and this and this. But, then I chose the college subject and the work that I do that is totally something different and actually aligns with, what I believe in, my core values and how I can make a difference. And still today, people ask me, but why did you study this? And I said, because I loved it. It was the best time of my life. I found my passion and my purpose. So isn't that the whole point of it? And they're like, some of them get it, but others are like, no.
When people ask you those questions, can you make a living doing it? Why did you do that? What that comes from is fear. They fear people. It's human nature. We fear what we don't understand. We hear a bump in the night, we jump up, and our first instinct is fear. The instant we know and understand where that noise comes from, we're okay. We go back to sleep. When we're talking to people about what we do, and if they don't understand it, they're instantly questioning it with a negative state of mind. They don't get it, they don't understand it, and they're going to try and protect you from what they are their knowledge is. But here's the thing. Once you have your why, you can never get put back in the box.
Yeah.
Once you have that, and it's true, and you're true to yourself, you cannot go back into the box. I realized after I had a had the real why, I could never have a job again. I could not put myself back into that little box to trade myself for an hour here and an hour there.
Exactly. Yeah.
I couldn't either.
No. You become unemployable. If you have your why, you become unemployable, and you will do everything you can to follow that. And you will become so much more streamlined because you're not chasing those fires that are trying to drag you off of your path. But if your why isn't real to you, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no real thing for most of us that we're born with our why. It takes a lifelong process of trial and error and acceptance. And once you figure out your why, all of a sudden the hard questions, the things you didn't want to talk about, the things that used to matter to you before become very irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Just like also Amalia said, we're unemployable or not, in the lines of employment, but with a clear why, we're with a clear path. And I think that we're all aware that, we'll have ups and downs. It's not an easy ride, it's not just like you sit on the train in a regular job and it just takes you there because you have like your path crafted, but it is, it is something that fulfills you, and it's something that you have a purpose for, I think. What I wanted to ask all of you is one thing that really I think about it a lot. Wayne, you've already mentioned it. I know that we mentioned it quite a lot, but there is also this cultural difference between us. So we all come from our cultures, we all come from our backgrounds, and even though the digital world is very an equalizer, so we're kind of all on the same page, let's say, but I think that there is a difference. There are differences that also make us or make our paths. How was it, for example, when you look at your past, or when you look at the culture that you were brought up, were you, for example, taught, or were you maybe encouraged to think about your why, your dreams, all that you can achieve?
Where I grew up was a very small community. North of the 60th parallel, there was 9 months of winter and 2 months of bad skidooing. Right?
I would die. Yeah. I just would die.
We didn't have access to a lot of what was going on in the outside world. Even up until my early teens, we only ever had access to one TV channel and one radio station, so we were very sheltered. So options and ideas and dreams were very difficult to come by. It was a very hard-nosed, to the grindstone. You were measured by your contribution to society was measured directly on how hard you were willing to work. So that's the way I was brought up to be. So here I was in my 30s working 120 hours a week because I needed to work harder than everybody else. 300 people in that company. I needed to work harder than everybody else to achieve a certain level of anything. And when my intervention came, because that's what I choose to look at. I mean, it was a life-altering event, but we'll call it an intervention. After I realized that and got a hold of my why, I realized that working hard is good. Yes, you need to work hard. And as an entrepreneur, nobody knows, better than entrepreneurs that you have to work hard. An entrepreneur is willing to work 16 hours a day so they don't have to work 8 hours a day for somebody else. But we're willing to because we cannot put our brains back in that box. Mm-hmm. Okay? People become very complacent and they take the easy way. And to me, a job is the easy way. It's somebody's going to tell you what time to get up, what time to go to work, what time you're hungry for coffee, what time you're hungry for lunch, what time you're hungry for coffee in the afternoon, and what time you get to go home. It's very mindless.
And they tell you your why too.
Yeah.
That's your why is to make them money. And they'll tell you if you're not following along their why, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's never going to make an impact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Varun, what are you?
Let me just share something. Then I give my seat to Amalia. So for Germans, it's not a question. I say that jokingly, right? It's not the question. We don't have a why. We are born, we grow up, we get a job, we work in the job for 45 years, and we retire, right? There's no question. What is your why? And if you ever speak about your why, they think you're crazy.
Yes.
And you better be quiet, because if not, they will bring you to the crazy house. So that's all my comment. Let Amalia go in.
Yeah.
They fear what they don't understand, because what they understand is normal. And, to be a productive member, a progressive member of society is to do work, to do that thing that they are all for generations been taught and told to do.
Yeah.
But the world needs court jesters and comedians too.
Yeah, I definitely agree. What about you, Varun? What are your experiences?
As the Van and Dagmar said, I also come from a humble background, from a small family, which is dubbed as a lower middle class family in India. We actually lived in the 2-bedroom flat in the earlier days, and done my engineering from the loan taken by my parents. And then when I started to work, I wanted to start as a work. Am I audible?
No,
Jana,
I hear you.
Because I am not audible. So when I tried to start my entrepreneurship journey, that parent has actually supported me. But the thing that I was not able to find my why, and I eventually failed in my first venture. The finding the why is very important, because it's actually like setting my goals and finding the real value. What is the value of my why, or why my value towards me, and what is the best I will get from this life. That's the main that I was able to find it, and that's how I was able to do that in the real time, or the day-to-day basis, that I can add value. And what is that value that where able to find your why, or when you are able to know the value, other people will give you some value or respect. Because until and unless you are not able to find your why or your value, people will think that you are just thing, or you don't have any value or importance to their life or their business. So it is very important why you find why for your because it will give us something recognition for your work, for your so finding why is very important in my term, and all participants says that it is very important to be relevant in this world.
That's thank you, Varun. That's like I saw Dagmar mention in the sidebar. I love Global Picnic because we learn so much, not only about each other, but also about the thinkers and talkers of Global Picnic. And it's like, I think that I think that for me, this is the most satisfying, when we bring ourselves and our stories to the table. It just kind of gets a very different perspective. Amalia, what about you?
In my family, my sisters, they have two traditional works in big companies, and they think you are a little crazy because you want to follow your own way, because you can work from a company and you can study from make a career in a special sector, and you can grow like a person. But I think you can grow in a personal way, not only in traditional way, like big companies or the same things that all the people do, your partners and your friends, your family.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think in your values and in your knowledge, you come to see like a mirror and to know what can I do, or what I want to do in my life.
Yeah.
And I think you can to found a way to look your future and to know your abilities and your knowledge and your resources to get a different way in company, and I think it's so important to help another persons, not only you or your experience, or you are a big master on a big company and you are a boss. No, you can only be a person with their needs, with I don't know how to say, the things that you want to share with other people, to learn and to teach too. I don't know if the idea is clear.
Yeah. I mean, it's very it resonates a lot with me, and I have kind of the mixture of when I'm looking back at my past experience or the, let's say, Slovene culture. It's kind of the mixture of what you're saying, also what Dagmar is, and there are also a few cases like Varun mentioned, when you do get the support of your friends and family, and they support you in your venture to find your why, to find yourself, and to create a path for yourself. So it is, I think, indeed very valuable. Dagmar, thanks for being a wonderful community manager here with us today. It's thanks.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for also keeping the time, because we're time limited today. Unfortunately, Alberto was not able to be here with us today, so he will share his Colombian past experience and his
next time
ideas next time. Before we officially close the 12th edition of Global Picnic, I would just like to thank each and everyone who joins us every week, or you've joined us today for the first time live, or to those who watch us on the replay. Thank you very, very much for your time and your support. Global Picnic community gathers live on Blab or whatever platform it will be every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. GMT, 7 p.m. Central European Time, and 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, Indian Standard Time, I'm sorry.
Just thought, what?
Yes, yeah, okay. In the meantime, feel free to reach out to any one of us under the hashtag Global Picnic in the Twitters. And we're also live and kicking step by step on Facebook and other platforms. Thank you very much for joining. We would actually really be grateful and appreciate your thoughts and your whys, if you've some of them shared us in the chat box. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.